Okay, I am back for part 2 of Dr. Wickermasinghe's Ayurvedic tea for colds and flu, for preventing and treating colds and flu. Prevention means that at the first moment that you feel run down and chilled and maybe a little sniffly or a little sore throaty, and you don't feel your normal self, and it's around the winter solstice or late autumn, depending, especially if you live in a cold climate, where it's already getting quite cold and you can easily get a chill when you're outside. In the case of San Diego, it's been cold for the last week. That's a good time to make this tea and drink a lot of it to chase out the cold, to ramp up your Agni, to stimulate your immune system. But also, when you do get a cold or the flu, and you can just really feel dreadful and you lose your appetite, especially with the flu, but you might just feel chilled inside, like you can't get warm. This is a really great time to make this tea. In fact, my neighbor has COVID, and last night I gave him about a quart and a half of this, and he drank it while it was hot. So he just really drank it all relatively quickly. And he's reported feeling better in the morning, so, which doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, he's been vaccinated, he had a mild case, but anyway. So now you'll see that where did I leave my spoon? Now you'll see that the tea's only been boiling for 10 minutes since I started, so it's got a while to go. How long will you boil this? You bring it to a boil and then simmer it like it's really simmering. And, if you're in a hurry to have some, you can simmer it until the room smells like coriander. I mean, I can tell by looking that it's already cooking down a bit because the coriander is changing color and softening, but this can easily, there's the ginger, see, it's still bright. This can easily cook for about another 30 minutes. 40 minutes, 45 minutes, but I won't really drink any until it's cooked for another 15 minutes. Now, there's two more ingredients to add. One is some kind of sweetener. Why do we add a sweetener? Because sweeteners help to loosen phlegm in the lungs, and they're tonic to the lung in small amount. And they also, this is a lot of hot spices, so a little bit of something sweet will balance that. Now, if you're using cow's milk or goat's milk, milk already is rather sweet and has, lactose in it, which is a sugar. So if you're using a milk like that, then you won't need as much sweet. Right now I'm using soy milk, and it's unsweetened soy milk, so I definitely want to add something a bit sweet. And lately what I've been doing when I've been making this is I'm very fond of dates. And so I used to get something called date syrup, which is just cooked down dates. But lately I noticed the lot of the brands that I could find at the Arab market, they've added sugar. So I just added 4 dates. And these are, what kind of dates are these? They are Noor dates, Noor, which is an Arabic word which means light. And assuming it's the same word, which I assume it is, I would think it would be. And it also says deglet. I don't know what that means. Anyway, as the dates cook down, the sweetness of the date is extracted into the liquid. And the other thing that I'm using, which they would use in India rather than date, is there's something called jaggery. Jaggery is, why is the light not so? There we go. Jaggery is raw sugar, and it's, in this case, this particular kind of raw sugar is this black jaggery. It's made from the toddy palm tree. It's not made from sugar cane. There is another jaggery that's made from sugar cane. So it's basically like, it's a very raw cane sugar, the golden jaggery, but this dark one, which is made from the palm tree, the toddy palm, not the coconut palm. There's another jaggery, which is coconut palm sugar. That's another story. So anyway, and this one has a very lovely strong malty fragrance. And it's also used for cough. A lot of times people have cough. So I put that much, and I'm gonna put that much. I'm gonna cook that down. And the jaggery is in a lot of medicines for cough. In the same way that we use honey for cough. Why am I not putting honey in it? Because in Ayurveda, it's interesting. In Ayurveda, honey is in many, many, many medicines. And it is said in Ayurvedic medicine that honey brings the effect of the drug to the deepest level of the tissues. On the other hand, so you'd think, well, we should use honey then. But on the other hand, it says you should never cook honey. And if you cook honey, it takes that medicinal benefit and turns it to poison. Where they got that from, I don't know. I trust their judgment, so I no longer heat honey. And since I want to drink this hot, or at least quite warm, there's no way I can add honey to it without heating it up. And in fact, they do have honey in Sri Lanka and India, and I never heard of anyone using honey with this. They use the raw sugar, which has its own health benefits. It's very high in minerals and stuff like that. So that's everything. And then when it's cooked, so if I'm using soy milk, then all I do is add the soy milk to the tea that's right off the boil, and then even if the soy milk's in the fridge, it's going to still be, the tea will be too hot to drink at first. But if I use dairy, cow or goat milk, I always boil the goat or cow's milk either in this or separately, if there's a reason to do it separately, because in Ayurvedic medicine looks at milk, dairy milk and cow's milk as liquid flesh, and leaving out the fact that historically the milk was raw and it wasn't safe to drink without boiling it from the bacterial perspective. And I know there are people that will quarrel with that, but sanitation on a farm in India isn't what you would have thought in those days. So often there would be some E. coli from the cow's poo in the milk. So according to my friend that's a dairy inspector in California, he said that same problem occurs here. Anyway, but besides the point, leaving that part of it out, the reason why we boil milk before consuming it in India and Ayurvedic medicine is because it breaks the proteins, the long chain proteins that are difficult to digest, into their simple amino acid components, thereby making it much more digestible. It's as simple as that. So that's what I'll do if I'm using animal milk, but today I'm using soy milk, so I'm just going to add some when this is all cooked. Okay? All right, well, thanks for tuning in to Dr. Wickermasinghe's Ayurvedic Detox Tea for Cold and Flu. I would also add to that possibly ear infections and certainly sinusitis and allergies as well. So thanks for tuning in. This is Eitan Shalom at the Body Mind Wellness Center in San Diego. It's been my pleasure. And happy solstice.